Great news, everybody. The play of this certain position group bodes well for the entire team, the offense, the team as a whole, and most importantly, the identity of what being a Baltimore Raven is. I'll let you know what that is in just a little bit. I'm sure you can kind of guess, but we'll get into that very shortly. But before we do, man, I had a blast last night with every single person that joined me live here on Ravens Rundown. Over 86,000 views on our Ravens-Bills watch party. We currently are sitting at 19,127 subs. The big milestone that's next, it's a big one, guys, 20K. We're 873 subs away. So if you haven't subscribed, do so right now. Just hit that subscribe button. This is the best place you can be if you're a Ravens fan on YouTube. And, hey, help us get to 20K. We'd appreciate it. Let's get into it. The offensive line, in a word, it's impressed. The Ravens, last night against the Bills, averaged 5.18 yards before contact per carry. And that is the most since the beginning of the 2023 regular season by any team in the NFL. And a lot of that is because of Derrick Henry. But, of course, Derrick Henry cannot do that if it weren't for the offensive line paving the way for him. Run the damn ball, right, guys? Because you did it last week against the Cowboys. You did it yesterday against Buffalo. And it has proved to be the key to success for this team. 161 yards before contact against the Cowboys. We're not just talking yards, guys. This is yards before Derrick Henry or Justice Hill or Lamar Jackson even gets touched. 161 against Dallas. And last night, Henry by himself had 139 yards before contact. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Joey, he broke off an 87-yard untouched touchdown run the first play from scrimmage. I know he did. That definitely inflates this stat just a little bit. But, man, still is impressive for these last 2 weeks to be running the ball as well as you have been. And it's a testament to Derrick Henry. But I think almost more importantly than anything, it's a testament to this offensive line. So I got a question for you because I need no more proof. I don't need to see anything else for the rest of this season than what I saw last week against Dallas and what I saw last night against the Bills. Do you think Derrick Henry is the best running back in the NFL? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. You're about to be hit with a YouTube ad break to make that time go by faster. This is going to be the pinned comment. Go on down to the comment section and reply Y or N for me down below. So did you know, this is per Next Gen Stats, that all 199 of Derrick Henry's rush yards came with 7 or fewer defenders in the box, okay? So it's not, and that's the thing that's so impressive and so hard with this Buffalo defense, right? If you stack the box, then Lamar can keep it or Lamar can hurt you with his arm. But if you don't stack the box, then Henry can run right down your throat. And so that's what's so great is you got to keep the defenses guessing over and over and over again. And I just couldn't be more impressed with the way that this offensive line has played through the first 4 games this season. How they've improved through the first 4 games this season. If you look at the yard per carry for each game so far, it's pretty much those first 2 are they're pretty much the same. But man, the improvement you've seen over these last 3 weeks from 5.6 yards per carry, almost up half a yard against the Cowboys, and then almost up 2 full yards last night against the Buffalo Bills. It's been awesome. And this is a position group that in the preseason and in the offseason was the biggest question mark, was the biggest thing that Ravens fans all across the country were saying, hey, Joey, this is our biggest weakness, right? This is the thing that if this team's not going to have success, it's going to be because of them. Well, over these last 2 weeks, it's kind of been proven that if this team is going to have success, it's because of them. And I could not be more impressed. So coming up, I got 2 big shout-outs to give on the offensive line. So excited to give those guys their flowers. But before I get to those, I got to give a shout-out to Game Time. Game Time is the sponsor of today's video, and it's the place to go for the best seats at the lowest prices guaranteed. And if you are so excited that football season is in full swing and you can't wait to get tickets to the big game lockdown, you're going to want to give Game Time a shot. Game Time's the only place I go when I'm trying to get any tickets to college football or any NFL games. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals, which are the highest value seats at the time. For some events, Game Time Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. Guys, that atmosphere last night at M&T Bank Stadium was absolutely outrageous. It looked like a blast. And if you want to be there for the next game, the next home game, then you got to use Game Time to get your tickets. You get the last-minute tickets and flash deals. You get to see the views from your seats before you buy it. And, of course, you get the lowest price guarantee. So head on over to Game Time and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So now for my two big shout-outs to the big boys up front, Roger Rosengarten and Patrick Mekari. And these are two shout-outs for two very different reasons. So what I love about what this offensive line was able to do last night is it looked a little bit different than it has these first 3 weeks, okay? Andrew Voorhees, starting left guard these past 3 weeks, he goes out with an injury. This is what the line looked like the first 3 weeks of the season. And then last night, you do a little shifting around. You move Roger Rosengarten right tackle. You move Patrick Mekari to left guard. And both of them were absolute stars. And I knew Andrew Voorhees being out of the lineup, I thought at least, that was going to be a big deal. But, man, this offensive line just took it in stride. Let's talk for a second about Roger Rosengarten. The lowest pressure rate allowed by a rookie offensive lineman in Week 4. 0%. That was his pressure rate on the day. That's 20 passing snaps. 75.9 PFF grade was the 5th highest on offense for the Baltimore Ravens. And this dude absolutely manhandled a future Hall of Famer in Von Miller. Can you imagine your first start in the National Football League? Your coach looks at you in the eyes and says, hey, you got to go block Von Miller for 60 minutes, okay? And then when Von Miller's not on your side, you got to block Greg Rousseau, who's a guy who has 5 sacks through the first 4 games this season. And not only did he keep up with those guys, but, man, he had his way with them. That draft pick out of Washington looking to be a steal so far. So grade Rosengarten's performance against Buffalo. Would you give it an A, B, C, D, or F? You can use pluses and minus. Okay, I'm going to let you do that. Get your red pins out. Let me know in the comment section down below. Now on to Patrick Mekari. His first career start at left guard, and that now completes the cycle. What am I trying to say? The spinny things at the fair. What are those called, Allie? Ferris wheel? No, the ones that go around and you ride on the horses. Carousel. The carousel left guard. That's probably not the best analogy. However, he started at every position on the offensive line. Every single one now in his career. And he was called, because of it, a unicorn by Ronnie Stanley. And Patrick Mekari has impressed me this season so far. His game-by-game improvement just solely at that right tackle position has been fantastic. But then you ask him to go and play left guard for his first career start ever, and he does that? And that's the thing about this Bills team, right? Is it's not like it's the Cowboys. We knew going into Cowboys, they were the worst rush defense in the league. You knew you were going to be able to gash them. This Bills team going into today, they're middle of the pack, 16th in the NFL. Well, I doubt they're 16th in the NFL now after yesterday. I mean, it was phenomenal. And if we're sticking with the offensive line shout-outs, I got to give a shout-out to Ronnie Stanley. The highest graded pass block win rate tackle through 4 weeks through the NFL season. And look at the company he's keeping up there. Lane Johnson, Penei Sewell, Trent Williams. Trent Williams is looked at as maybe the best tackle in the NFL. And Ronnie Stanley is there 4 spots above them. Man, this offensive line has not only performed well, but to me, they've performed high above the bar that I set for them and high above the bar that anybody who's a Ravens fan has set for them as well. And if they keep playing this way, I got to tell you guys, they are going to be scary. Because when they play this way, they allow Henry to do what he does. And then that means this is a scary team, right? Because when you got the offensive line working, you get the run game working, then you got a running quarterback who also can hurt you down the field. Lamar proved last night he's good at throwing that deep ball, right? He was hitting guys 20, 30 yards down the field all night long. How do you stop this offense if the offensive line is playing the way they've been playing? How do you stop them? I don't know. And now, before I get into the outro, I'm curious what this team is going to do from here. Did Patrick Mekari perform so well at that left guard spot, or at least at that guard position, that maybe when Andrew Voorhees is healthy, they move him over to right guard, Voorhees comes back in a left guard and keep Rosengarten right at that right tackle? Because, man, he was phenomenal. How do you take him out of the starting lineup? I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 20K subs as fast as we can, and we need every single one of you to help us get there. I'm Joey Peterson. This has been Ravens Rundown, and you guys have a fantastic Victory Monday.